Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Gabrielle DeWaite.
And I'm Alyssa Mandarak. We now have finished the second full week of Trump's term as president, and a lot has taken place, from a new tariff war to his policy on immigration. We'll have the latest details for you here.
And Point Park is seeing an exciting panel come to the Playhouse soon. Hear details about what students can expect to see.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
"700 were killed and 2,800 people were injured during the fighting in Goma. The M23 rebels, who were backed by Rwanda, have captured the capital of North Kivu province and are reported to be moving south towards Bukavu. The M23 rebels say that they are fighting for minority rights, while the Dominican Republic of Congo government says that Rwanda backed the rebels and are seeking control of the eastern region's vast mineral wealth. In attempts to halt the M23's progress, the Congo military has set up a defensive line between Goma and Bukavu. With the defense line, 100 civilians have volunteered to be enlisted into the military to defend Bukavu. On the other hand, the M23 group vowed to continue their offense until they reached Kinshasa, which is 1,600 miles away from where they began their fighting. The UN Secretary General spokesperson Sefri Duaka told reporters, quote, "Humanitarian organizations in Goma continue to assess the impact of the crisis, including the widespread looting of the warehouse and the office aid organization," end quote. In efforts to regain Goma from the rebels, DR Congo President Felix Tshisekedi said they have planned, quote, "a vigorous and coordinated response," end quote. Within the attempts to regain Goma, the military has now regained most of the control last Saturday, with Undersecretary General Jean Pierre saying to reporters, quote, "The situation remains tense in Goma with occasional shooting, but overall calm is gradually being restored," end quote.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu landed in Washington, D.C. on Sunday to conduct a series of meetings from Monday to Thursday. These talks are set to discuss the current and next phases of the ceasefire deal signed on January 19th, which Trump has taken credit for. This is the first trip since the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for his war crimes in November. In the press conference held only an hour ago, Trump expressed his desire for over 1 million Gazans to leave and not come back to their homes, saying, quote, "They won't want to go back," end quote. He reasons that they shouldn't want to return to a place full of death and destruction. The meeting, scheduled for 4 p.m. today between Netanyahu and Trump, was delayed due to sizable protests outside of the White House. He met with Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff on Monday. He plans to join Pete Hegseth and other military leaders at the Pentagon tomorrow and will have meetings with members of Congress on Thursday. Netanyahu has previously said he wants to continue the fight soon in order to have complete victory over Hamas, as well as the fighting against the slew of Iranian-backed militant forces. In the last 15 months, it is estimated that Israel is responsible for the deaths of 61,000 Palestinians. Gail Tashir, a professor at Hebrew University, says, quote, "As long as he continues the war, Israel does not go to election. Israel does not have a public investigation of what happened on October 7th, and Netanyahu remains in power," end quote. This meeting comes after Trump previously suggested all Gazan residents are sent to Egypt and Jordan to, quote, "clean out the whole thing," end quote.
A 17-year-old girl was killed in a shark attack off the east coast of Australia yesterday. The girl was swimming at Wareham Beach at Bribie Island, which is a popular tourist spot in Sydney, Australia. Emergency crews received a call around 5 p.m. yesterday for serious reports of the shark bite incident. The girl suffered a life-threatening injury to her upper body. The victim of the attack was identified as Charlie Zamuda. A western side of the Bribie Island is known for its calm waters. However, the eastern side, where Zumada was swimming, is an open beach. Local President Christopher Potter told ABC News Australia that the beach is frequently used by swimming groups and is known for many sharks around the island. However, this incident taking place is so close to the shore it was a shock. This is the third shark attack in the area in the past 3 months, and the second of which resulted in a fatality. The beach will remain closed until further notice. This past Saturday, Trump announced tariffs on 2 of America's closest allies in what was the Wall Street Journal called the dumbest trade war in history. To give us the most up-to-date details on the tariffs and their fallout, reporter Ruthie Light is here in the studio. Ruthie?
Thanks, Gabby. On Saturday, President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and 10% tariffs on goods from China. Throughout Trump's campaign and early presidency, he has threatened to place tariffs to ensure greater cooperation from the companies on stopping illegal immigration and the smuggling of chemicals used for fentanyl. Alongside this, however, Trump has also sworn to use tariffs to boost domestic manufacturing and raise revenues for the federal government. While Trump's use of tariffs moves to fulfill certain promises in his campaign, such as those concerning illegal immigration, it also goes against his economic promises and strains relations with North America's 3 largest trading partners. With the growing concern about inflation in North America, the imposed tariffs will not be erasing tensions anytime soon. Trump's tariffs reach across the entire U.S. market. Oil and lumber are largely supplied from Canada, and plastics, textiles, and computer chips from China. Tariffs on Mexico could add to the cost of produce, clothing, liquor, and auto parts produced there. Gregory Dako, chief economist at the tax and consulting firm EY, calculates that the tariffs will increase inflation. Dako predicts that the U.S. economy, which grew by 2.8% last year, would fall by 1.5% this year and 2.1% in 2026. Although President Trump's order included a promise to escalate tariffs if U.S. trading partners retaliated with their own, this did not prevent a quick response. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he would put matching 25% tariffs on up to $155 billion in U.S. imports. Along with this, Trudeau effectively urged a boycott of U.S. goods, influencing Canadians to produce Canadian products while shopping. As of Monday, China had not imposed new tariffs on U.S. goods, but according to its Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Beijing government will take, quote, necessary countermeasures to defend its legitimate rights and interests, end quote. The Ministry of Commerce also said that it would file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization for the wrongful practices of the U.S. Concerning relations with Mexico, on Monday, Trump and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum announced that they would forestall a trade war for a month to allow negotiations. Mexico said it would deploy 10,000 members of its National Guard to the U.S.-Mexican border per Trump's wishes. However, before speaking with Trump, Sheinbaum had already ordered retaliatory tariffs for precautionary measures. It is unclear how long Trump plans on upholding the tariffs, but the length of time he stays persistent will determine the detriment caused to all countries involved. NewsNight will keep you up to date as more information comes in.
In just over a decade, India's tiger population has nearly doubled in size. The country is now up to 3,600 tigers, making up for nearly 75% of the world's tiger population overall, making India home to the largest tiger population. Overall, the population of tigers has grown by 30%. This is due to massive conservation efforts, which include protection from poaching and loss of habitat, as well as ensuring there is enough prey for the large cats. However, these large cats still aren't out of the woods yet and still need ongoing conservation efforts and protection from humans, making this an ongoing effort for conservationists internationally. Coming up after the break, we'll give you a thorough look at all the major actions taken by President Trump this past week. Plus, hear about how Elon Musk is suing an ad agency in regards to his social media platform X. We'll be right back.
On Saturday, Musk's lawyers filed an amended complaint expanding the 2024 lawsuit on the social media platform X. The lawsuit accuses the Global Alliance for Irresponsible Media, and advertising industry group and members of multiple companies of violating antitrust laws after he bought the platform formerly known as Twitter in 2022. The original lawsuit entailed that they allegedly conspired to collectively withhold billions of advertising revenue and specifically named several companies including CVS, Mars Orsted, and Twitch. The new complaint adds the companies Nestle, Abbott Laboratories, Colgate-Palmolive, Lego, Pinterest, Tyson Foods, and Shell. The lawsuit states that the companies acted to enforce the social media platform adherence to certain brand safety standards. The group favored when they collectively stopped purchasing ads on X. It also states that the member companies celebrated when X did not meet its forecasted revenue goals and that it boycotted which continued to affect the company. Musk's lawyers argued that the social media companies should be able to set their brand's safety standards and that they are, quote, optimal, end quote, for their platforms and users in a competitive market. Musk's lawyers said, quote, but collective action among competing advertisers to dilate brand safety standards to be applied to social media platforms shortcuts the competitive process and allows the collective views of a group of advertising with marketing power to override the internets of its consumers, end quote.
Guantanamo Bay is undergoing major preparations as Donald Trump has ordered as many as 30,000 deportees to be sent to the Cuban province. 50 tents enclosed in a fence have been established next to the Migrant Operations Center, which Trump has ordered to be expanded to full capacity. Right now, the center has 120 beds. A plan made in 2017 detailed the ability for 6 tent camp additions that would hold at least 11,000 migrants. This morning, it was reported that the first plane of deportees was set to depart from El Paso. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Fox Business that the first flights are now underway. This is a major change of protocol for U.S. deportations as the Migrant Operations Center in Guantanamo has historically only been occupied by mainly Cuban and Haitian people at sea attempting to reach Florida. While signing the Lake and Riley Act, which mandates detention for undocumented immigrants accused of theft and violent crimes, he said, quote, we have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, end quote. The detention center on the base has notoriously been a center for detainees involved in the U.S. war on terrorism. It was opened 23 years ago and has only ever been occupied by roughly 800 people. 5 of the current 15 inmates are accused of involvement with plotting the September 11th attacks. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has claimed the, quote, dangerous deportees can be held in these facilities as well as being able to fit 6,000 people on the base golf course. Cuban foreign minister said in an X post, quote, the U.S. government's decision to imprison migrants at the Guantanamo Naval Base in an enclave where it created torture and indefinite detention centers shows contempt for human condition and international law, end quote. This past week has seen multiple high-profile plane crashes, giving a painful and worrisome backdrop to Trump's second week in office. Reporter Ruthie Light is in studio to talk to us about what happened in these cases and how the new administration may have had an effect on the outcomes. Ruthie?
Thanks, Alyssa. Last Thursday and Friday, America faced 2 fatal plane crashes that have since evoked both concern from Americans and speculation by President Donald Trump. On Thursday in Washington, D.C., a mid-air collision between an Army helicopter and an American Airlines flight from Kansas killed all 67 people aboard the 2 aircrafts. This devastating accident is said to be the deadliest U.S. aviation disaster since 2001. Passengers on the flight included a group of figure skaters, their coaches, and family members who were returning from a development camp that followed the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Wichita. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, it was too soon to speculate a cause for the incident and pledged to release a preliminary report within 30 days. Officials say that flight conditions were clear and that the jet coming from Wichita, Kansas, was making a routine landing when the helicopter flew into its path. Following the crash in D.C., 7 people were killed, including 1 in a car on the ground, and at least 19 were injured after a twin medevac jet carrying a child patient and her mother crashed in a northern Philadelphia neighborhood Friday night. On board were a pediatric patient and her mother returning home to Mexico after the child had been treated in Philadelphia, alongside 4 crew members. According to Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation, officials will not know much about what went wrong until the investigators recover the plane's black box. With both accidents happening a mere day apart, speculation from President Donald Trump has surfaced. Trump has pinned the cause of the accidents on former President Joe Biden's administration for encouraging the Federal Aviation Administration to recruit workers who, quote, suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative, end quote. President Trump added that the program allowed for the hiring of people with hearing and vision impairments, as well as paralysis, epilepsy, and dwarfism. Although Trump did not share any evidence that the unqualified people were being put in critical positions like air traffic control in these specific instances, he still went on to explain that air traffic controllers need to be brilliant to ensure safety. Former FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker responded to these accusations by saying that the FAA seeks qualified candidates from a range of sources. Each must meet vigorous qualifications that vary by position. Following the accidents, Trump has signed an executive order ending diversity initiatives at the FAA last week.
An executive order signed last night. Trump created an outline to create a government-run sovereign wealth fund and economic development tool. It would have the goal to, quote, promote fiscal sustainability, end quote. According to the order, the fund will be made of, quote, a combination of liquid assets that we have in this country as we work to bring them out for the American people, end quote. One of the uses for this fund, according to Trump, would be for the U.S. government to become a partner in TikTok, ensuring the app stays within the U.S. borders. Senate and Commencement Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick has 90 days to deliver a method for this funding.
President Trump fired the director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Rohit Chopra, on Saturday morning. This wasn't an unexpected move by Trump, as Chopra was placed in his position by former President Biden in 2021. This move is considered one of the last purges of the Biden administration. During Chopra's time in the Bureau, he took on many large financial companies and some of America's largest banks to protect consumers. The Bureau was created originally in 2010 to prevent another financial crisis like the one that occurred in 2008. As for now, the new leader of the position has yet to be named by Trump and his administration. When we come back after this break, hear about the recent debate for Pittsburgh mayor. Also, we'll tell you about some of the latest concerts coming to the Pittsburgh area. Don't go anywhere.
The gym on the 4th floor of the Student Center will be undergoing renovations sometime this year. According to Derek Cook, the center's coordinator, details are not yet finalized, but as of reporting, the weight room and cardio room are looking to be upgraded. Refurbishing is expected to occur sometime in either the spring or, quote, at the latest by the summer. Keith Palo, the Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students, said that more information on the renovations will be released, quote, as soon as possible, end quote.
Election 2025 for Pittsburgh mayor is beginning to gain some steam. Current Mayor Ed Gainey participated in an open forum this past Sunday with current County Controller Corey O'Connor, who is looking to replace Gainey as the Democratic nominee. Reporter Colleen Winder was at the event and has details on both of their comments and their plans for the city.
A mayoral forum took place at Chatham University today, titled Pittsburgh Political Conversations. The event was hosted by the 14th Ward Independent Democratic Club and held a meet and greet of most of the Democratic candidates for Allegheny County's Common Pleas Court and candidates for Pittsburgh mayorship, incumbent Ed Gainey and County Controller Corey O'Connor. After the greetings, then came the forum for both mayoral candidates. Both were asked a set of questions from moderator Ann Belzer, including affordable housing and homelessness. A hot topic in Pittsburgh as the number increased from 913 in 2023 to 1,026 individuals in 2024, according to Allegheny County's point-in-time census count.
All neighbors and residents and organizations come to the table to talk about housing. That's what we did when we started the Housing Opportunity Fund. That's the type of leadership that you need to have those detailed conversations. And I believe that we can build affordable housing all over Pittsburgh.
Another was immigration and whether the candidates would accept incoming ICE initiatives into PGH as the Trump administration prepares for mass deportations.
But I believe in the fact that you don't make people live in trauma, because that's a trigger that at the end of the day brings violence that we don't want in our city. That at the end of the day, if we don't create programs so that we can catch up for what we didn't have in the past, we're not building a nation to give opportunity. We're still building a nation that says, I'm going to prevent you from moving forward. We have to create as many paths to opportunities as we can. So when
After the individual interviews, then came the debate between both Democratic candidates, where they were timed to answer a series of questions, such as maintenance, traffic control, safety, and budget handling, followed by closing remarks.
Traffic calming is a value. And we can't just look at it from one prong. It's a prong that we have to continue to look at it for and how we create equity in our communities.
So you want to be transparent. Let's be transparent about how we're going to build the future of this city, and it's not going to be a spending spree.
The event was a needed one before the primaries in May, where they will pick the official Democratic candidates for the upcoming 2025 Pittsburgh mayoral election held in November.
Till then, watch out for any local political events in your area in order to make informed decisions. For UV Television in downtown Pittsburgh, I'm Colleen Winder.
A very unique event is taking place at the Pittsburgh Playhouse tomorrow, looking to inspire young women to enter the music business. Reporter Juliana Brock has the details on what you can expect at the discussion.
I'm here at PNC Theater, where Point Park University will be hosting Backstage on Stage, an event offering a discussion with Melinda Calese, the founder of Women Who Rock. She's here to talk about her journey in the music industry and inspire Point Park students.
So Backstage on Stage is basically like a little Q&A session with Melinda. It's hosted by Ed Travisary, who's actually our faculty advisor here at Pioneer Records, and he's also pretty big in the music industry, and he's just going to be sitting down and asking Melinda questions about her business and asking for maybe some stories and stuff like that, so you'll get to see kind of how Melinda got to where she is and what's coming up for Women Who Rock.
It really goes back, and it started with me and my love for music and being a musician. And really throughout my career, there was just so much, disparity that I faced and different treatment being a woman in the music industry. So that was really personal to me, to have more performance opportunities for women in music and things like resources and creating safe spaces.
Women Who Rock partners with McGee Women's Research Institute, and proceeds from their events go towards women's health research.
And then also women's health was something that was very personal to me. My mom's a cancer survivor, and through her experience, I learned just how underrepresented women's health research is. So I thought if I could combine the two that both are facing disparity issues, I thought something special could happen, and it did. And that's how Women Who Rock began.
Melinda is also a professor here at Point Park University.
I had her as a professor that year too, so I got to see what we were learning in class, and I got to see that applied to a big show like that Women Who Rock benefit show. Just got to see like I said, everything she was talking about in class just kind of happening right in front of me, which was really cool.
I really love having the students working alongside of me in real time. I've been doing this a long time, but I still have to solve problems and challenges every single day. So having the students see what it looks like, it really is, to me, the best learning experience. I'm really excited. I can't wait to sit down with Professor Travaseri. I know it'll be sharing both of our stories. And, Ed has been part of Women Who Rock, I think, since in terms of, watching it grow and hearing stories and being a mentor since I first started it. So that'll be fantastic. I can't wait to, hopefully there's some new stories and takeaways that the students attending will learn from it. But yeah, it's just going to be a really special night about, sharing what, journeys look like in the music industry.
Tickets are available now, and you can get them online at playhouse.pointpark.edu. This is an event you won't want to miss. For UView Television, I'm Juliana Brock.
The 2025 concert lineup in our area is growing. Over the past couple of months, several artists have announced their tour dates with Pittsburgh on their list. For the spring concert lineup, Pittsburgh will host a mix of genres. Rapper Tyler, the Creator, will stop by PPG Paints Arena, and classic rock lovers will get a chance to see AC/DC at Acrisure Stadium. Other spring concerts include Warren Zevers, Pearl Jam, and Post Malone. In the summer, Pittsburgh will welcome several country artists, including John Party, Thomas Rhett, Megan Maroney, Luke Bryan, and Jason Aldean. If you're not a fan of country music, you'll have an opportunity to see other artists such as Billy Joel with Rod Stewart, Avril Lavigne, Teddy Swims, Styx, and Linkin Park. Coming after the break, hear your weekly weather report in light of Punxsutawney Phil's revelation. Also, we'll tell you about some of the good deeds that took place during the Grammys. Stay tuned.
Take them, cue them, open their mics.
Today marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Point Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
This past Sunday, music's biggest award ceremony took place in LA, and it came with a large effort to raise money to help fight the current fires in the area and support recovery efforts. Raising money for the Academy's own Music Fires Relief Foundation, the night overall raised nearly $7 million for the organization. This includes donations from viewers and multiple organizations that were in attendance. The money will be used for organizations such as the California Community Foundation, as well as the Palestinian Community Foundation. The past couple of days have been extraordinarily warm, especially considering how Punxsutawney Phil just predicted 6 more weeks of winter. Weather reporter Robert Forntero is here to take sense of all the weather and give us a look at how the rest of the week is going to look. Robert?
Thanks, Gabby. Punxsutawney Phil may have predicted 6 more weeks of winter, but he certainly didn't predict the roller coaster ride the temperatures are about to go through in the coming week. After a warm couple of days, tomorrow is dipping down to a high of only 34 degrees, which is just above freezing. That won't stop snow from coming down, however, as we're expecting up to an inch of snow to accumulate on the ground and cloud coverage for the rest of the day. Winds will stay relatively mild, so there is no wind chill warning, but regardless, be sure to bundle up and stay warm tomorrow. Taking a look at the rest of the week, it's going to be pretty confusing, so you're going to be cycling through a lot of outfits. Starting Thursday, Though there will be rain in the morning and afternoon, we're going to be reaching a temperature of 60 degrees, nearly hitting the record of 63 set in 2008. Temperatures will dip down slightly as we begin to head into the weekend, hitting 40 degrees on Friday and 47 on Saturday. Be sure to keep an eye out for clouds though, as we are expecting spotty rain showers on Thursday. We'll continue to have lower temperatures as the weekend continues, getting down to 39 degrees on Sunday and 36 on Monday. The sun will try to peek through as we start the week, but it looks like we're getting back to some classic Pittsburgh gray weather and hopefully some more normal winter weather. Now, sending it back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel or our website uview.pointpark.edu. Also, stay tuned on our YouTube channel for UView's Sideline episode going live at 7:30 later tonight. I'm Alyssa Mandarak.
And I'm Gabriella Waite. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.